So to our officers that have been asked in the past and continue to be asked to take these dangerous motor vehicles, ATVs, dirt bikes, off the streets in a safe way. Very successful in the past. We know there are hundreds and hundreds of other bikes that come here either from Providence or in the general area and ride dangerously in the city of Providence. We will and we have given direction to our officers. First and foremost, we want to make sure everyone's safe when we engage in the apprehension of these motor vehicles, these ATVs, in a way that gives them guidance as well, what we're asking them to do and what we're asking them not to do. And we're not asking them to put themselves or any innocent person, including the operators of these vehicles, in an extreme dangerous circumstance. I've talked about this in the past, in the years, that it's tricky. These are fast motor vehicles. ATVs can get through and around a lot of tight spaces, and it presents a problem for law enforcement across this country. We're not shying away from it. It's just a challenge that we're going to overcome and continue to take these ATVs and dangerous motor vehicles off our streets because the operators are driving them too dangerously. They're reckless, it's criminal, and people are getting hurt over it. From that, I'll stop and ask anyone if they have any questions. Yes.
Still going to crush them?
We still will crush the bikes once we catch them. There's a procedure. We move for forfeiture in municipal court. We ask the court for forfeiture, and then we will continue to crush and destroy them.
And about a week, 10 days ago, the mayor and the police chief in Cranston said that they thought a registration system would be unworkable. And they said they thought no one would spend the thousands of dollars it would take to make these vehicles street legal. What do you say to that?
Look, it's a part of one strategy and solution. This is not going to end the problem that we have. So I understand their perspective, but we've also researched this across the country, and it's one part of many strategies that we're considering.
Do you expect a registration system of some kind here in Providence?
We're working.
Let me speak to
yes,
this.
Sure.
Let me speak to this. So the registration system, remember, we want to address both the drivers and the owners, but also all of the enablers, the gas stations, the organizers, but also at the point of sale. Right now we have this endless supply, and so how do we limit that supply? It's future facing. I don't expect any of the people driving around illegally and driving around dangerously to register their bikes. This would only make it more easier for them to be caught and held accountable. So I don't expect any of them to. That gets addressed through enforcement. However, we do have a problem where these endless supply of bikes keep finding their way onto the streets. And the idea is to put a limit and some hurdles so we can slow that stream. That's the idea.
Some of the bikers say they need a place to go. They need an open space. Is that a part of the plan as well? Or?
You know, that's something that we're open to, but we have this immediate, dangerous situation that we have to resolve first. And we just can't have the lawlessness. We just can't have the dangerous circumstances that they're creating. So that's something that we're open to exploring, and we'll continue that conversation. But the immediate threat is the public safety danger that they're posing to our residents, and that's what we're focused on.
So to be clear, there's a policy that if someone in the community suspects that a neighbor has a bike or an ATV that was operated illegally or is unregistered, that you're encouraging them to report that to police, and then the police can go and inspect it. Can you sort of walk us through that process from a legal standpoint?
You want to talk about that, Chief or Commissioner?
Sure. Yes, so the council passed an ordinance that any possession of an ATV in the city of Providence is illegal. And so if you know of a ATV or dirt bike that we're speaking of, to inform the Providence Police, and we'll go out and view that ATV mini bike. If it's not registered, if it's not safe, it's not street legal, we have the ability to seize that motor vehicle, return it here, and process it before the court for forfeiture and eventual destruction.
All right, that's it, guys. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. I mean, all right, one more. One more.
Yes, Chief. One more. Okay. I guess, Chief, if you can talk to people are really wondering what makes this different. I mean, you guys have been dealing with this for so long. What makes this just today, this announcement, any different from the others in terms of really cracking down on it?
So you're right, and this is a reiteration of what we've done in the past, and we're ready to ramp it up. Excuse me, if need be, with efforts that I'm not at liberty to speak about today, but we've conferred with many of those departments that I mentioned, the Northeast cities. I think for the first time we're really seeing an increase in crossing over into other municipalities like Cranston and others, and we're looking to partner, like everything we do. We look to partner with our law enforcement partners, whether it's state, local, federal, but as well the community, and as well the media, to address an issue, and as well legislatively. So all of our challenges that we have in the city and the police department, whether it's chronic addiction, whether it's mental health, in this case, it's the biker activity, the dangerous, illegal biker activity, we're looking to ramp up our efforts, so that's how it's different, to attack this issue and try to get deeper to the root of the problem.
And Mayor, I just want to clarify, because you had said, to clarify on the registration, I think people hear this registration system say, they heard registration systems to make these legal. You say there's nothing further from the truth than you wanting to make these legal. Can you explain what you have proposed, and are you still proposing this?
Sure. Yeah. So remember, we want to hold both the riders and the owners accountable, and that happens primarily through enforcement. We also want to hold accountable all of the enablers. So the gasoline stations, the sellers. We also want to hold accountable the organizers of these illegal ride-outs. So you attack each one in step. So addressing the issue of the sellers, where we have this endless supply of bikes that are finding their way into our community, how do we address that? We know that you can go into one of these shops, you can pay cash, and you can literally drive the bike, the motorbike, off the shop. I mean, we have to stop this endless supply. So what I've proposed to stop that is some kind of registration system that before they can ride off with it, we have to know who they are. We have to know that they have a license, that the vehicle is insured, that it's registered, that they're going to have a license plate, something to make sure that it's less likely that they're going to use it irresponsibly and illegally. And look, this is not a solution to the bikes that are out there. It's future facing. It's something that will stop that supply. I don't anticipate any of these folks that are using it illegally and dangerously to register their bikes. This would just make it easier for us to catch them. It'll be easier for them to get caught. So that gets addressed through enforcement. There are many different angles and aspects to this, and we have to address one accordingly. And so that's how it applies. Yeah.
Seller? Going to take some ordinance change or something?
Yes, that would have to be done by law, and that would have to be done by the purchaser. Just like when you purchase a vehicle. So what we want to do is we want to put barriers and hurdles so that it's not as easy to purchase a new one and then go out there and ride it irresponsibly and illegally.
All right, thank you, guys. You can get them after. We're good.
Stations too?
We're good.
Yeah.
Sometime
All right.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.